I'm Times New Media Coordinator Robert Blaszkiewicz, here with editorial page editor Doug Ross, and we're doing a series of videos previewing the upcoming primary election and looking at the Times endorsements. Doug, today we're going to be talking about the Porter County Council races. Let's talk about first the 1st District Republican race between Jim Biggs, who's well known as a former county commissioner, and a political newcomer, Kevin Tracy, who's might be best known as an active blogger in the area. Can you talk about those candidates?
Sure. Kevin's one of the young guys, quite young. He's got a real conservative bent to him. Espouses the conservative philosophy right down to the letter, but he just doesn't seem to have the practical savvy about local issues that we appreciated seeing in Jim Biggs.
He's got some international expertise, as you said,
right,
but maybe not so much the local.
Exactly.
Okay, and talk about Jim Biggs.
Jim Biggs, of course, was commissioner, went through an incredible number of things, including problems with the hospital, and Biggs actually was the one who created the Blue Ribbon Commission as commissioner that investigated the hospital issues, and then ultimately led the county to sell the hospital and get out of the healthcare business entirely.
Maybe he could figure out something to do with all that interest money we've got from the sale.
Well, that's part of the key, is that money is just collecting dust. Collecting interest, obviously, but it's not being put to use yet.
Okay. Let's move on to the 2nd District race between two Democrats, one the incumbent, Rita Stevenson, and the other, Jeremy Rivas, who's challenging her on the Democratic side.
That's an interesting race. Jeremy Rivas has a lot of union support in a district that's not only Democratic but very heavily unionized. You'll see a lot of steel workers, a lot of construction workers, a lot of union workers. In other words, it's definitely a blue-collar district.
The RDA is an issue that is a
pivotal
clear difference
issue
between these candidates.
Right. Stevenson, who works for the county, I should point out, in the clerk's office.
Right.
So then there's that whole issue of, do you want to govern an employee being their own boss, in essence, on their own governing body? But Stevenson voted for the RDA initially. She, raised the income tax, well, doubled it actually, but it was pretty small to start with. So raised the income tax that would pay the dues for that, and then in this last round voted to attempt to withdraw from the RDA. Whereas Rivas is he's a union guy. He wants the money out there generating jobs and put into economic development.
And the unions have generally backed the RDA as a job-creating tool. So, okay.
Right.
Well, that concludes what we're talking about for the Porter County Council races. We'll be returning with more previews and more endorsements.